Good afternoon and welcome to the Safe Streets Coalition. We're glad you chose to join us today, either by Zoom or by phone. As usual, a YouTube link and survey will be sent to you in a few days. The PARS staff joining us today are Mandy Shikansky, Executive Director, Lynn Smith, Community Prevention Consultant, Maddie Timish, Community Education and Media Specialist, and I'm Judy Wilson, Office Manager and National Night Out Program Coordinator. Please contact any of us if you would like to have questions or if you need assistance. We do post the agenda for the day, and of course this is just for your information. So you'll also have it on the YouTube if you choose to review this again. At each meeting, we usually have a champion of character. However, today we don't have one, but we do have one scheduled for October. A person can be nominated for exhibiting good character that has significantly improved the health, safety, or the quality of life of the community. There are 49 different qualities that can be considered for a champion of character. So anyone in Shawnee County can be nominated by completing the nominating form and emailing it to jwilson@safestreets.org. The nomination form can be found on the PARS website at parstopeka.org, or you can email me and I'll be glad to send it to you. We always post the August minutes. They were emailed to everyone, but you'll see here on the screen, there are just a few slides to show you. Again, this is just for your information and to be in the recording. And there's no action needed on this. And we have our staff report today for August for Neighborhood Watch. You know, July we were doing pretty well. The COVID hadn't really taken off again. So we were beginning to have Neighborhood Watch meetings, and then came August. So we did have one meeting at Oakland. They are a new Neighborhood Watch. And then we also, I also did a presentation with them for their NIA on Oakland the next night. And I did a Civitan Club presentation on safety this past week. Even though, you know, we can't meet in person, we do send information, Neighborhood Watch information, safety information, out to all the neighborhoods, as well as to our Safe Streets Coalition members, our City Council, County Commission, our Topeka police officers, because we want to keep them updated on things that we know are happening. The retailers, an IFO meeting again, they have to send information by email because of COVID. Hopefully before too long, this will decrease and we can again meet in person. I know that a lot of you have been on the Facebook pages, and just to remind you, we do have the Lock It, Remove It, or Lose It a Facebook page. A lot of people check that, especially this time of the year with the holidays coming up. We do have National Night Out Facebook, and of course, a lot of people were on that one when we were planning for National Night Out. And the National Night Out, of course, has been completed, and now they're planning for next year. The Safe Streets Coalition Facebook, we do have really good information out there, so you might want to check it out. Even though we're not really in the office all the time, we do have a lot of calls that we take and emails. So we had this time about 439. We did have a presentation meeting this time on the Substance Misuse Task Force, and that was in person. And of course, there were about 10 people there. Now, I know that a lot of you have been out on the Prevention Resiliency new Facebook page and also on the website. So we did have a lot of people out there, 18,977 people. So we're really glad that you're choosing to catch up on everything going on. The Latino meeting, there was a presentation this time, And also on the Latino Facebook page, there have been quite a few people out there as well. Today we have Sergeant Dan Wilson with us from the Topeka Police Department, and he's going to talk about our crime stats and also some safety tips and updated information from their department. Dan?
Thank you for having us. Once again, kudos to your whole staff on National Night Out. We had a great time at it, met up with a lot of people. Hard to believe that we haven't been able to do as much over the last year. It's kind of our new normal, I guess, but it was nice to get back to meeting with people and interacting and being out there. So on the crime stats, excuse me, on the crime stats, if you look at the violent crime, numbers are pretty even. Most of them are down year to date. We do have month to month about it is even of the 6 category or the 4 categories. Excuse me. I will at the end of this, I'll wrap up with some good news. But like I said, the stats on violent crime are kind of even right now. But like we tell you every month, if you see something or you know something, let us know. There's only a couple hundred of us, and there's thousands of people out here that see stuff and hear stuff every day. So we, again, always need your help. On the property crimes, again, lots of blue on there or green on your screen. Most stuff is down. We've had a little bit of a spike in auto thefts overnight, as well as vehicle break-ins. The main thing, again, on this is, lock your stuff up, remove valuables, remove firearms. We had a gun stolen in a car last night. We'd like to be able to not have that be an issue anymore. Package theft is, at least on Facebook, seems to be an issue again. Another reminder on that, especially as we start creeping towards holiday season, is you can always have that stuff held at the offices, or you can have it maybe delivered to wherever you work or somebody that you know is home during the day. With the stats, I wanted to give you some good news, and you probably saw the press release we did on it. We, over a 5-day stretch at the end of August, made substantial arrests in multiple cases, to include business robberies, a business burglary suspect, homicide suspect, shooting suspect. We had a child abduction that we were able to find the child safe, as well as find the vehicle and find the suspect, all within about a 4-hour window, like they do on TV, which is not normal for normal law enforcement. We also arrested a kidnapping suspect with a citizen's help. Saw something that didn't look right and let us know. So like I said, that 5 days was a major success for the city and county law enforcement. The Touch a Truck, we attended it was actually on National Night Out weekend, over at Christ Lutheran Church. Had a good time there. If you've got little ones, we have another Touch a Truck coming up. It's going to be the downtown one. It is on September 11th from roughly 9:30 to about 1:30. Obviously, pay attention with the ever-changing COVID stuff. I think they'll probably still go ahead with that event based on it being outside, but that's always a good event, and the little ones love that event. But you guys already knew we were at all those events, so. But yeah, so no, like I said, it was nice just getting back to what's normal for us. And like I said, I can't thank you guys for all you do on that. And the community should be thankful as well. PAL flag football. I can't read because of the screen here. Does it say, is September 4th the cutoff for registration? Is that correct?
It begins on September.
And Officer Lister is the contact on that. He's also the boxing coordinator for that, and he actually was the coach for the girls softball over at Dornwood this year. So he's got his hand in all of these sports events and does a great job with our kids. Does anybody have any questions?
Thanks for all you do, Dan. I know you all are working hard to take all the criminals off the street. That's a big job.
I did. I forgot to mention one from one of our partnerships, reference our retailers meetings. We had a gentleman that was very active over the last month or month and a half and did hit multiple stores along Wanamaker. We ended up arresting him last week. He went to jail for, I think, 20 or 21 theft cases. So it was a nice win for the retailers. And we appreciate the support and thanks for, like I said, giving us the tools to do our job and, like I said, supporting us.
Thank you, Dan.
That's all I got. You're welcome.
Thank you. Next, we have Deputy Abigail Christian with the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Abigail?
Thanks, Judy. Like Judy said, my name is Abigail Christian, and I am the Public Relations Deputy for the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. Just to kind of tag off our partners there at the Topeka Police Department, we also had an awesome time at the National Night Out events. So thank you guys so much for your hard work and for the communities that participated in that. All of our officers had a great time. And then just to touch base on the PAL football as well, we actually extended the registration deadline. So you have through this Friday to sign up your little ones. It's going to be kindergartners through sixth graders. And then we're looking to start games probably September 11th. So we just wanted to give a little more time to get a few more players in there. Just going to be a great opportunity to have your kids get out, enjoy some exercise, hopefully have nice weather, and interact with all of our officers. All right, as we look at stats, as you can see here on your screen, that our burglary and theft cases are still down compared to the last 3 years, which again is awesome. And a big part of that is definitely our community members that are being more vigilant and calling when they see something or just taking their stuff inside, locking it up like we ask them to, as well as our proactive officers that are out there searching for those burglars every day they're patrolling. So thank you. And go to our next slide. Thank you. Methamphetamine arrests are up across the board still. We are still on track to surpass our numbers from last year. And again, this is just going to try to get the drugs in our community out and make this place a little safer for all of us that live here. So thank you to our officers that are still working hard to get those off our streets. And next, we will look at our felons in possession of firearms. We're about the same as we were last month, but we are still working hard. We got several more months left in this year to hopefully surpass our numbers from last year. And again, just to get those illegal firearms out of the hands of people that have not earned the right or have lost the right to possess those. And again, those, I think we talked about this last month when Sergeant Harmon was informing, and those can come in many forms, whether it's search warrants or just traffic stops or calls to service that we respond to. So we will continue working hard to get those off the streets as well. And our last one here, as you can see, we are still on track to overpass 2020 numbers on the amount of those illegal firearms seized. And again, we just want to keep them out of the hands of people that can no longer possess those. So thank you, and we will keep working hard to do that. All right, and our big thing we just wanted to talk about this month is that September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and we want to go ahead and get out as much information as we can, just so we let everyone know in our community that all you need to do is talk about it, reach out to someone. We have people here that'll talk to you, and there are a ton of resources in Shawnee County. So we just want to take this time to help raise awareness and spread a little bit of hope throughout our community. We do have a short video to share with you, and bear with us because last time YouTube was a little spotty with our connection. But this video was a collaboration between us at the Sheriff's Office, the Topeka Police Department, the Topeka Fire Department, the Topeka, Kansas Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge number 3, and the International Association of Firefighters, Local 83. So all our community members here kind of joined up together on this video.
During 2020, in Kansas, one person died by suicide every 16 hours.
Don't give up.
On average, 130 people died by suicide per day nationwide.
Help is available.
Worldwide, 800,000 people die by suicide every year.
Talk to someone.
Suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in our nation.
There is hope.
You matter. Together, we will get through this.
Mandy, thanks for trying on the video. We'll get that posted on our social media too, and hopefully everyone can check it out real quick. So thank you all for your time, and Safe Streets PARS, we appreciate your partnership as always.
Thanks, Abigail. Appreciate you, all that you do. Our speaker today is Lynn Smith, Community Prevention Consultant with PARS. Lynn is a graduate of Kansas State University. He joined the Prevention Services Department at PARS in June of 2012 as a community prevention consultant. And in this role, Lynn gives presentations in the schools and in the community addressing substance abuse and prevention education. Prior to joining the Prevention Services Department, Lynn spent 6 years with Safe Streets, which is another program of PARS. At Safe Streets, Lynn was a youth development coordinator and community mobilizer. Lynn's interest in prevention work stems from wanting youth to be successful in life. Lynn understands firsthand how using substances can negatively impact one's life, so Lynn feels it's important to educate today's youth about the dangers of using alcohol, tobacco, or other drugs. Outside of work, Lynn enjoys coaching sports, which he's done for about 20 years, and enjoys his family. Thanks so much, Lynn, for helping us today.
Thank you, Judy. Good afternoon, everybody. And this isn't how we planned on having this presentation for you guys. It was intended to be more hands-on, and we're going to have a teens room, what we feel is a teens room set up at the Overland Station, and have some folks come through and look through it and see if they were able to identify any of the paraphernalia or other at the conclusion of that, I was going to go through, as I'm going to do today in the PowerPoint presentation, and highlight the things that were in that room. But since I'm in the office today, I actually will highlight a few things that weren't in that room, or was it going to be in that room, and actually have it here to be able to show you today. So we do this presentation because we feel it's important. A lot of people either have young people or have youth, work with youth. And so we want to help adults be able to identify drug paraphernalia and apparel, and then also to explain ways to engage in prevention efforts. The idea of that is to help increase protection and decrease risk as it pertains to substance use amongst young people. And when I say young people, I use that term in the age range of middle school and high school age individuals. So when I keep saying young people, that is the target group I'm talking about. So for those of you who have teens or preteens, you know, I have one myself, and it is a uphill battle to get her to keep her room clean. It's a fight all the time. And ideally, this is what we would like our teens' rooms, our kids' rooms to look like, but we know other way. When I go into my daughter's room, it looks like a tornado has been through there. And it's almost one of those points to where it's wasted breath to try to get her to keep her room picked up and tidied up. But it's important as parents, adults, those who are working with young people, you have young people at home, it's to go into their rooms, or if they're at school, to interact with them, ask them to, you know, see things that are visible, maybe a lanyard, a hat that they may be holding or wore as they entered the building, just so you can kind of gauge what's going on with them. So if you've ever been into your kid's room, you may have seen a water bottle or a pop can that has never left their room, and you might wonder why. You know, are they just constantly keeping water bottles or pop cans in the room? Is it the same one? Just questions you need to ask yourself as you're being observant or assessing the things that are in your kid's room. It's not uncommon to have these things in your room, or for some school districts, it's not uncommon to allow the youth to have a water bottle or something that they can have a drink from. The thing I want you to take away from today's presentation is be inquisitive with your child, your niece, your nephew, your cousins, or whoever it is, that young person in your life that you're dealing with. Be inquisitive, ask questions, ask to touch things. If they're reluctant to let you touch something of theirs, might be a reason why. That might be a red flag, that is, they have something in their possession that they know they shouldn't have. And so, next slide, please. So when you see these items, if you start touching, pulling, twisting, this is what you might encounter. A lot of these items that are out there are used for concealment. So they are hiding their substance of choice, which would be the case for the Coca-Cola can. With the case of the water bottle, the bottom third of that water bottle actually can be unscrewed, and actually the liquid of their choice, in this case, will need to be white to match water, but they could easily put their vodka or gin at the bottom of that. And then at the top third of that image, which is right above the blue label of the Aquafina, they could have actual water and take that lid off and drink from it as they would a normal water bottle. But then at the bottom third, as they walk away, go to the bathroom, they can unscrew that bottom third and then take a sip of their gin or vodka. Another one that we don't have anymore, before I go to that next slide, I do want to show this other water bottle that actually unscrews in half, and it's another hidden compartment type of apparatus. So they can easily conceal or hide, and something that, for those who have teens who are driving in their cars, there's, this is made by Armor All. It's a window cleaner. It looks just like a window cleaner. It actually sprays, so it's real. However, you can't fill it back up. But again, as you pull and twist and with items, you can see that this actually comes apart as well. So it's another concealment apparatus that they can easily hide their substances or their paraphernalia and attempt to do it in plain sight. We may have all seen a book like this in a movie. Oftentimes we see them in movies where there's jail scenes or prison scenes where they're trying to hide their drugs or their paraphernalia. And this is that same type of book that you may have seen in the movie. So at the next slide, you will see as you open this up, there's a compartment that's covered, and you take that compartment off and you can easily put whatever it is that you're trying to hide in the book and then place it amongst the other books in your room or your locker. Next slide. Hair care products. These items and everything I'm going to show you there is just uncanny, the things that they have created to try to conceal or hide their drugs or their substances. So in this case here, we have a hairbrush and a stick of deodorant. It's a real brand, Speed Stick. If you take off the top of that deodorant, it smells just like real deodorant. But if we go to the next slide, you can see again, there's more compartments to where they can hide whatever it is they're trying to hide, their drugs, their money, what have you. Next slide. Surge protectors. What isn't shown in that picture right there that I have right here in the office today is currently it is not plugged up, but for those that, I'll get a little bit closer to the screen, but it's right now it's showing that it's on. The red light is on, it's indicating that there is a power source. However, there is no power source as it's not even plugged in to an outlet. And so that's just something to keep in mind. So if you went to use a surge protector in your kid's room for whatever reason, say you were vacuuming their room or you was plugging in something, a new clock, which that's kind of dated. However, if you was using that surge protector and it wasn't coming on, and then you unplug it, then plug it back in and things still weren't powering up, might be a good reason to why a lamp is not turning on or your phone's not powering up, because I'll show you in the next slide, it's a hidden compartment. So again, it's endless the amount of items that are out there that are being used to conceal substances. Next slide, please. Apparel. You know, our young people are banking and hoping that they are 1 to 2 steps ahead of us, which they normally are as it pertains to this culture that they're living in these days. So they're hoping that they can be wearing something and you are clueless about what it is that they're wearing. And there's a lot of apparel out there that is giving reference to substance use. And in this slide right here, we have a hat, a shirt, a lanyard, some shorts, and a pair of shoes. And I don't recall what my next slide looks like. So if we can move to that next slide and I will explain each one. Okay, great. So with the shirt, I would imagine a lot of people are familiar with the term 420, or it's 420, which is synonymous with marijuana users. April 20th, that 420, that is the National Weed Smoking Day. It's now morphed into oils. And so 710 is now kind of the new 420. And if you take 710 and write that backwards, that's going to spell out oil. So in this case, this shirt right here, there's a lot of reference to marijuana use, or in this case, oil use, with the honey oil, the 710, super sticky oil company. All of those are references to oil use, or hash oil use. From that, it can derive to a final product that looks like peanut brittle, has different names. You may have heard of dabbing. All of this is derived from this product right here, that whole oil phenomenon right there. The shoes, there is a Velcro tongue. So in that case, they could easily conceal or hide something in their shoe. So there's a Velcro tongue. That brand of shoe is called DVS. We actually purchased these shoes off of online. We actually purchased the shirt locally. And then the hat and the shorts is from a company called Seedless, Seedless, Seedless. For anyone that is familiar with the marijuana culture, marijuana users prefer to not have seeds in their marijuana product. therefore the name seedless. Anything that is a apparel by seedless, there's some sort of hidden compartment to their apparel. So as far as their hat, on the inside of the hat, the lining of the hat, where that green sticker is with the yellow words, is a pocket, or they call it a stash pocket. With the shorts, they have a lanyard that is Velcroed to the inside of the shorts. And so again, that is a way for the individual to conceal or hide their substance of choice. And I don't know if the next slide has the lanyard on it or not. So no. So can we go back to the previous slide? So on the slide before that, there was an image of a lanyard. And so on the lanyard, this is a seedless lanyard. On the side of the lanyard, which hopefully you may be able to see or distinguish a little bit, but there's a little pocket on the side of the lanyard that again could easily, it blends in with the lanyard. So again, youth are banking on us not being inquisitive, not asking questions. So they could easily place what they call a blunt right here in this pocket or this pouch of the lanyard. The blunt wrapping paper or anything else that they are trying to conceal. The other thing with lanyards, being in this profession for quite some time now, a lot of young people really like lanyards. So if you see a kid with a lanyard and they have a lot of different things on their lanyard, ask to see their lanyard, ask them to explain what's on their lanyard. You know, if they're willing to describe and show you what's on their lanyard, then it's a really good sign that everything that's on their lanyard is legit. But if they're like, oh no, Mr. Smith, or no, Miss whomever, then there's probably something on there that they don't want you to see. And so in the case right here with this lanyard, there's actually two things on here. Again, it's kind of hard to see being virtual. Had we been in person, it might have been a little bit easier to see, but I'm going to do my best. So on here, there is a actual flashlight. It works, it lights up. So it has a legitimate use. Could be used in the evening time as you're walking to your car, to your home, to light up your path, or so you can see to get the keys into the doorknob. But when you unscrew the top of this flashlight, there's a compartment where they can easily stash pills. And it's small enough, that's probably the only thing that they're really going to get in there is pills or maybe a powder substance. The other thing that's on this lanyard that, you know, just looks like a trinket, there's keys on here, but as you explore more, and as I mentioned earlier, I deplore you to twist, pull at things on your kids' products just to see what happens. But this green little trinket with a couple of twists can easily be turned into a pipe. So here we have a pipe that they could easily put a little bit of marijuana in here, take it to the bathroom, smoke it, put it back on there, put it back together and put it back on their lanyard and walk around like nothing has happened. The good thing, or one of the good things about youth, sometimes they don't believe that they'll get caught. And so a lot of the referrals that we get within our agencies, they go out at lunchtime and smoke weed, and that smell lingers and it stays on them until they go home and change and wash those clothes. And so that's going to give them away. But again, these are things that our young people are walking around in the hallways with. They don't think we have any clue about what's going on. And oftentimes they smirk and giggle as they walk away because they feel they just got over on us as us adults. And that's it on that one. I think the next slide gets into some of the newer stuff that is out there. Vaprwear is the company, and that's the spelling of it. Feel free to Google them and look them up. They're known for, when they first came onto the scene, they was known for their hoodies. The drawstring hoodie acts as a smoking device. So on one end of the drawstring is where you would smoke. On the other side of the drawstring is where 99 to 89.99, as you can see. Then they've now, tweaked it for the short sleeve hoodies. And then they have kind of upped their game a little bit. So not only are they making hoodies and t-shirt hoodies, they are now making, with the next slide, they're making backpacks. So in this backpack here, it illustrates all the different things that this backpack offers. Stash pocket. So there's a place where you can stash your drugs. It's lined for whatever reason. They have another drawstring vapor system. So on this backpack, they can easily have their marijuana or their oil already fixed up, and they could just be walking around the school, taking drags off of their vapor string. For those who have a little bit of background knowledge about marijuana, it dries their mouth out, so they become thirsty. And so they have put a hydro bladder pocket on there. So they have addressed that as well. So not only can they walk around and get high, but also, quench their thirst and stay hydrated. Other mechanisms that are on there, it highlights the security strap, places to store other items, a tech chamber for their equipment, their electronic devices, avalanche whistle. The reason that's on there because I believe this company is based out of Colorado. And so for those who utilize this backpack when they're camping, they have a whistle attached to it. But this is just something that, again, that could easily blend into traditional regular backpacks. And so just going to be mindful that we have to be, again, asking questions, knowing what's going on within our community, within what's going on in the culture of our young people, trying to educate ourselves by doing Google searches, asking questions, visiting stores that are within our community that sell these products. So that way we can let our young people know we're aware of what's going on. You're not going to be getting over on us. And we need to, ask those questions. Why? Why are you engaging in this behavior? See the next slide. Scales. It's sad to say, but there are a lot of young people conducting transactions at schools or in our school parking lots. And so these are just some of the things that they are using to measure the quantity of the substance that they're that they're selling. And they look like some of our day-to-day things that we would use. Telephones. The bottom left is an old school way of how they measure their substance. But you got, again, the telephone measuring there, the old school iPod up the upper left. There's just a lot of different things that are out there that look like day-to-day devices that are being used for illegal purposes. The paraphernalia that our young people are exposed to or have access to ranges from things that mimic cartoon figures that our young people are familiar with. So the Ninja Turtles, to pens, to highlighters, to things that resemble lipsticks, to bracelets, to flashlights. It's just crazy the amount of things that are out there that our young people are exposed to, have access to, and can use to get high. More hiding places. It's endless, the amount of things that are out there that can be used to conceal or hide. Talked about the water bottle earlier, but there's dog food, there's CD cases, which is obsolete now. There's jewelry, there's rings and watches, there's, hygiene devices, shaving cream, 2-liter soda bottles, chip cans. These are some of the newer flasks that are out there. Some are like made to resemble real ties, look like phones. The 2 newer ones are the upper middle and upper right. That's a purse. It resembles a purse. And the one on the upper right is a bangle for ladies. And there's been images where people have gotten into events, be it homecomings or proms, because they look like the real thing, and administrators were clueless. And so the young people were able to get into the events with these items right here. And then again, just some other things that they have created. Sunscreen bottles that look like sunscreen, but it's actually a flask. And then feminine hygiene products that are actually a flask as well. And before what to do now, there is more shirts that are out there. So if you're running into shirts that talks about cookies or stay off my grass, those are, again, just references to marijuana use. So again, we have 2 stores that I know for a fact sell a lot of apparel that make references to substance use. One store that sells a lot of the paraphernalia within our community. I would just encourage you to visit those stores if you want to know more about what our young people have access to. I would encourage you to go on Google and do your Google searches, go on Amazon and look for paraphernalia devices, because they're on there. That's where we purchase some of our stuff from as well. So as I conclude what to do now, as I hopefully have enlightened you and opened your eyes to some things that you might not have been aware of. Next slide is, talk early, talk often. This isn't a one-time conversation to have with your young person. You're going to know better than anyone else when to have that conversation with your young person. But talk early, talk often. One thing that I have learned to do, in addition to talk early and talk often with my team, is to just listen and be quiet when my teen's friends come over. Or if I'm on soccer dad detail and I'm driving them to or from practice, if you just listen, they're going to act like you're not even there, which is crazy to me, but they're going to tell you a lot of stuff that you don't want to know, but it's helpful information. Knowing the warning signs of drug dependence is very crucial. So if you're able to identify some changes in your young person's routine that deviates from what they normally do, doesn't necessarily mean they are using a drug or they're having issues with their drug, but that should be a red flag to ask some more in-depth questions about what's going on. Why are they all of a sudden weight loss, or eyes are red, or they used to love academics or sports and all they talk about is hanging out with this new crowd of friends who you have heard engage in substance use. Maybe their grades are slipping, their behaviors change. So those are going to be potential red flags that there's something going on. So that should implore you to ask more questions to your young person. I talked about being informed. Google, YouTube, head shops. Our kids are very big in TikTok. So a lot of the stuff that they're doing, they're putting on TikTok, making videos about. That's going to help you know the trends. If all possible, try to know who your young person's friend and family members are. Who are they hanging out with? Again, keep asking those questions and keep talking to them. And I believe and talked about that already. That was on the previous slide. this presentation, again, it wasn't ideal for today. We really wanted this to be in person. So if there was something about this that you liked and you would like to have this brought to your PTO for your school or your community group, that you think more adults could benefit from this presentation, please don't hesitate to call or email myself or anybody here at PARS, and we will get that coordinated for you and bring out the actual room itself, set the bed up, bring all our paraphernalia and apparel out and put it within the room and see what you all can find, and then explain what it is and answer any questions that you might have. I appreciate the opportunity to give you all this presentation today. I believe Mandy's going to place in the chat a link for a survey, if you wouldn't mind completing that at some point today or this week, and we'll get it to Judy as well, so that way she can include it in her follow-up email to everyone. And at this time, I'm done, and I will stand for any questions if you have any.
Any questions from any of our audience today?
Saw a question from Ashley. I didn't say the names of the two stores, but within the mall, there's Spencer's. They sell a lot of shirts, apparel that make a lot of references to substance use. And Groove Shack, they sell a lot of the items as far as the concealment items, so the water bottle, the Armor All, glass cleaner, and then the other like smoking devices. Those are two stores that I know for a fact carry quite a bit of the stuff that we have within our possession.
Other questions or comments today? Well, in that case, I just want to apologize for the technological issues. That's what you get when this girl's in charge. The folks that work with me know that's always a joy. Thanks for being here. We feel like this information is so helpful, especially if you're working with young people and just having an awareness. And like Lynn said, I too have a teenager, and you will be amazed at what they might share with you if you are willing just to listen and spend a little time in effort in knowing more about what's going on around them. So there's no further questions or comments. Again, thank you for being here today, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week and that you stay safe and healthy out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. As usual, I'll send the YouTube link out in a survey in a few days, and we really would appreciate it if you would complete the survey and return it to us. And then, of course, here on the screen, we do have the QR code now that might help you in completing your survey as well. And then we have the Topeka Duck Race coming up. And PARS Topeka is excited to fundraise with Sertoma on the Topeka Duck Race. I know we have participated in past years. So we do have the link there for you that you could adopt a duck, and we would appreciate it if you'd help us reach our goal. So again, thank you for joining us today. And Lynn, thanks for all the great information that you provided. We do look forward to our next Safe Streets Coalition meeting on Wednesday, October the 6th, and at noon. And we hope we'll be able to meet in person, but then again, it may be by Zoom. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in touch and let you know. Again, thank you for joining us today. Bye.